Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. When I was in fifth grade, my family and I had traveled to my grandparents' home in Taipei, and my mom showed me some jewelry that she had in a safe in Taipei. And amongst her stuff, there was a, I think, 5 to 10 ounce gold bar. I can't remember the exact size. And her grandfather had left it to her, and she was going to leave it to me. And not long after I came home from Taipei, I started studying chemistry. And I learned that gold is just one element amongst a sea of elements. And it wasn't even the rarest, if I remember correctly. I had a textbook all about each element. And so I learned that gold wasn't even the rarest, it wasn't the most expensive. In fact, at the time, I think it was palladium that was the most expensive because the Ford Motor Company was cornering the market. And I knew, even back then, I knew that wasn't worth it. And the reason being that it's not as rare as gold in the Earth's crust. I learned about rarity, price, and all that. And it just hit me, why gold? And I remember thinking that when I grow up, I'm going to hoard other metals to leave to my kids. Right? Everybody's going to be crazy about gold. I'll be crazy about something else. Now, there was something else that I wanted to find when I grow up. At the time, our periodic table ended here. And it made me wonder what's directly below gold. See, I did a calculation, just a back of the envelope calculation. I think at the time, gold was about $400 an ounce. And silver was about $5-6 an ounce, if I remember correctly, and copper was $1 a pound or something like that. And when I calculated the ratios between copper to silver, silver to gold, the ratio was very similar. Gold was like 50 times more valuable than silver, and silver was 50 times more valuable than copper. So I guessed that the element below gold ought to be 50 times more valuable than gold. At the time, gold was like 400, so I did 400 times 50, okay, about $20,000 an ounce. And I just imagined a 5-10 ounce bar of that stuff could buy a house, right? That's kind of imaginable, right? So that's what I thought. And I thought the reason that nobody had found any of that element, at the time it didn't have a name, and I thought the reason nobody had found element 111 yet was because we didn't dig far enough to the center of the earth, because it would be so much heavier than gold, it would sink to the center of the earth. And at the time, we after we had come back home from Taiwan, I really loved my time in Taiwan. I told my parents I was going to dig a hole all the way to Taiwan, and also along the way I was going to find a lot of element 111, and I started digging up our backyard. And so it drove my dad crazy. I think we eventually planted a tree in the hole that I dug, but it drove my dad crazy. But now that I'm all grown up, I get to indulge in my 5th grade fantasy of hoarding. Doot 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 doot. Well, gold. Doot doot doot. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. A Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.